Welcome back to the C Morning Show right here on C Today. Now, the World Health Organization marked a milestone when it declared the end of the COVID-19 pandemic just in May. Now, since the emergence in 2020, over 765 billion people worldwide have been affected, resulting in 7 million lives lost.
Significant strides have been made in the battle against the virus, the most notable being the development of vaccines to bolster immunity against it. What many might not know is the Indonesian influence behind one such vaccine.
Yes, and today we have the privilege of hosting Carina Citra Dewijo, one of the patent holder of the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine, whose contributions have been pivotal in elevating the global COVID-19 crisis. So you've decided the past 3 years to avoiding the recovery COVID-19 as one of the scientists behind the AstraZeneca's vaccine. So Dr. Karina, good morning once again. So how could you share with us the light on the scope of your role in the monumental project itself?
Good morning. So my role is to develop the large-scale manufacturing process for the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine.
Right.
So if you know, vaccine needs to be used by a lot of people.
Yes.
If you only can make a small batch of it, so same like you have no vaccine at all.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So again, elaborate with us more about on the fundamental works of the Oxford AstraZeneca.
So our technology, we are using a chimpanzee adenovirus. So
Right.
it's not circulating in chimpanzee, but it's not circulating in human. So this virus can infect humans.
Yes.
And we put the genetic code of the COVID virus in it. So when this adenovirus infects humans, it will produce some of the spike protein from the coronavirus. And then it will induce the immune system, so we can have the antibody against the actual virus.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it's an amazing feat what you did with your team, because it's from at least from what we know, it takes over a decade to develop a new vaccine, and you and your team only did it in 1.5 years. And how is that even possible? What was your strategy behind it?
Yeah, so we developed the vaccine in less than a year. It's not like we took any shortcuts. So we did every process that we needed to do to make the vaccines. But it's just like we are doing the process in parallel. So we start the second process before the first process is fully defined. So to give you an example, so I did the process development for the manufacturing process, but in the middle of the process, we already started the tech transfer. And we also communicate closely with the health regulator. It's called the rolling submission. So when we had the data from our clinical trial, we submit on the same day. And then on the end that day, the health regulator will give us the feedback, so we can have, we know what we need to do the next day.
Okay.
Not having to wait for so long. And then we also have the funding from the government, so we don't have to find the funding as compared to the normal research.
Right, but because I do think that funding is an essential element, right? One of the essential. Now, take us a little bit way back, Dr. Karina. So my question would be, why are you so, or you're still interested, but again, from the first process of the vaccine itself, why are you so interested, being in one of the biggest teams in AstraZeneca?
Yeah, I think it's not about the interest. I mean, my role is necessary at the time, so my expertise is needed in the team, and then it's the crucial role, so we can have the vaccines to be used in the clinical trial and the commercializations. And then it's our calling as a scientist to do something during pandemic when the human needed our help.
Of course, and when you and your team are actually formulating the vaccine itself, of course, you mentioned there's lots of trials and also errors, right? And it was settled, less than a year itself, right? So it's quite fast to do so. And
amazing feat.
It is amazing. But I want to know about, your personal life outside the medical life itself and also the lab's life, right? How did it impact your personal life with your family?
Yeah, I mean during the pandemic, I was busy working on the project, and I didn't tell much to my family what I'm doing. So I think they're quite worried about because I'm quite far away from my family. They're back in Australia, and I was in UK. Yeah, I only tell them that I'm staying at home during the lockdown. I don't want them to worry about me.
Oh,
wow.
And then they know what I'm doing from the news.
Right.
So
Wow.
the first thing that my mom did is scolding me. Said, "Why did you lie?"
Oh my God.
I'm having goosebumps right now.
I
mean,
know.
it's like a movie, you know.
Yeah,
It's
she
like
needs
movie
to
plot.
cover things up to the family because she's and her team is actually
working on
something which is very big, right?
COVID-19.
Dr. Karina.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I'm also curious because from what I know, what we did research on is that your background is actually on culinary arts.
Yes.
So tell us more about it. How did you get into the vaccines business right now?
Yeah, I mean, I did science first. I did my biotechnology bachelor degree, and then my parents decided maybe I need some culinary skill because I cannot cook at all, and said okay. And then I did 2 years in diploma hospitality management, and then my degree is in French culinary.
French culinary. So you actually have a diploma on French culinary.
Yes,
Where did you learn the cuisine?
I did it in Australia and then also in France.
Was it at LCB?
Yes.
Wow, so you're a Le Cordon Bleu graduate and also an AstraZeneca vaccine developer.
Developer, that is so true. So
I did work as a chef for a couple of years.
there you go. So I must say that.
So we're actually a partner, how do you say it? In Indonesian, we call it rekan sejawat.
Yeah.
In English.
A line because he's also a chef.
Yes, I guess I'm also a chef and now a news anchor. So,
There you go.
You know.
Multi-talented, Dr. Karina. Same as Archie here, right? Now, take us back again about the vaccine itself. So, you and your team, before involvement with the AstraZeneca, contributed in so many vaccine developments, right? Such as rabies, MERS, and also Ebola itself. So, which among these pose the, formidable or the most challenging one to actually form a vaccine itself?
I think the COVID vaccine is the most challenging project because at first we aim for the clinical trial, maybe for 100,000 of doses.
Right.
And then after that, the goal becoming bigger, and we have to aim for more than 3 billion doses. And then the vaccines has already been paid by all of the countries, right?
Right.
And then we have to develop it in a very timely manner, in a very short time period.
Yeah,
and at the time, in the beginning, we don't have funding, and then we have no people. So essentially, only me working in the lab by myself.
Right.
Yeah.
It was just you.
Working on the project, yes.
Right.
Wow.
Because at the time, there's a lockdown. We couldn't recruit more people, and then I don't have any downtime to train more people.
Right.
Yeah. So I think at the time is the most challenging one is there's no time, no funding, and no people.
Right, right. So at that time, so the team was very small, right?
Team was very
and it was, a lot of pressure for you and also your team to actually needed to, make the vaccine ASAP and then, to distribute to all of the countries in the world. Because before that, again, as mentioned that before the vaccine are actually given to other countries, people are just striving to be alive, right, without the vaccine itself. And it took lives of millions of people without the vaccine itself. So we have the vaccine now, which is a very good thing that we can say, we can praise the God for that. And also Dr. Karina for you and also your team. But we want to know more. Is there any, any vaccines that you really want to discover or to make with your team?
Yeah, I think not necessarily that I can take on the project, but I would really like to develop the tuberculosis vaccine.
Ooh, nice one,
Right.
TBC.
TBC,
Yes.
tuberculosis vaccine.
I think this is what Indonesia needed at the moment, yeah.
Yes,
Yes, yes,
because
yes.
there's high numbers of people who are infected with TBC
Yes,
itself.
and fun fact on that, last week I just got hospitalized and was first diagnosed with TBC, but thank God in the end it was not.
Oh,
So
thank God.
yes, so
Yeah.
TBC might be the next best thing,
Yes.
vaccine
Amen.
for vaccines.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
right.
Dr. Karina, you've returned to Indonesia, home country here. So, next plan, what are you going to do?
Yeah, I'm still deciding what is my next project is, but I have my own venture. I mean, developing like a program, like artificial intelligence combining with biotechnology.
Wow.
So it's a platform, so we can design the biological drug from scratch.
Ooh, sounds interesting.
Interesting,
Right?
yeah.
Okay.
Right.
And then combine it with maybe doing one of your hobbies, which is culinary, maybe, right? And also cooking, maybe, right? Okay. So, Dr. Karina, thank you so
Yes,
very
thank you so much for joining us.
Yes.
And maybe one last message to women in Indonesia.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my message to the woman in Indonesia, like I met a lot of smart women,
Yes.
Indonesian women. I think what you need is confidence to take a more important role, to speak up what you know, and then to make an impact to the global citizens.
Of course.
All right,
Indonesia Women Pride
confidence.
for global impact. Dr. Karina, thank you so very much.
Thank you
All the
so
best
much.
for
Thank you
you.
for having me.
All right, so that's it for right now. We're gonna have another short break, and in the meantime, don't forget to follow our social media accounts if you haven't already done so. We're on Instagram, X, YouTube at See Today News. So stay tuned with us on the See Morning Show. Thank you so much, Dr. Karina.